Today we've got a wave of new polls that were taken from after the attempted assassination of President Trump, and the results were crazy. And when I say crazy, I mean they are truly insane. I'm going to show them here right now for the first time, I believe, in Donald Trump's political history. So I'm talking 2016, 2020, and in this election, Donald Trump is averaging, out of all the polls, 3.3% higher than Joe Biden nationally. So in other words, Donald Trump is poised not to just win the Electoral College in a landslide, but the popular vote, which, if you didn't know, a Republican has not taken the popular vote since 2004. And according to this, he's not just going to take it, he's going to take it in a landslide, which of course means for the Electoral College, he's going to win in an even more, crazy fashion. So I will say too, these polls that I'm about to show you, about half of them are for Joe Biden, and so Donald Trump, Joe Biden. The other half are Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, which part of the reason why these are such good polls and so important and so helpful is because at this point, we don't know if Biden's going to step down. It's kind of 50-50 in my head at this point, but it's pretty clear that if he steps down, Kamala Harris is the favorite to replace him because she is the VP. They've talked about her a lot. She is a black woman, and so Democrats are going to be pretty upset if they replace her with a Gavin Newsom, for instance, because you're literally replacing a black woman with a white man. Not something I care about, but of course Democrats care about that a lot. And so anyway, it's really helpful that we have both these polls. So let's go to the polls right now. We have some national polls, and then we have some specific states, and those ones are equally as crazy as the national polls. So this first poll, this string of polls, there's a few of them, so I'm going to have to show them in bits. As you can see, again, these are national. We have Trump up 3, 5, 8, 6, 5, and 4. That is crazy. And again, I said 3.3% nationally. That's average with the other polls from before. If you average these out, he's 5 points up, 6 points up. Again, you can see that depending on Biden, it doesn't really matter. In one of these polls, Trump versus Harris is up 8 points. In another, only 3. And again, it kind of evens out. And so the question is what do Democrats even do with this information? Do they stick with Biden? Do they go to Harris? In my opinion, I think you stick with Biden because if you look at the polling, Harris is no better. And so at least you get to keep that consistency. You don't show, super disunified if you go for, Harris instead of Biden. Here's another string of polls. The best poll is that they're even, which is really, really bad for Democrats. There's some really other astounding ones, though. Here you can see +6, +5, +3. I mean, this is so bad if you're a Democrat right now. And again, this is nationally. Another thing you'll notice, on some of these lower polls, it says Democrats for the next generation. A lot of these polls, in these national ones, as well as the state ones that I'm about to show you, were taken by Democrat super PACs. So these will already lean left. And you can see in the left-leaning ones, we have Trump +6, Trump +5. Usually you would expect it to be skewed towards liberals if it's done by, a Democrat super PAC. It does not seem to be the case in this, which is really astounding. Now let's go to the individual states. You're seeing here Arizona and Nevada. The top half is Arizona, the bottom half is Arizona. This is crazy. You'll remember Donald Trump lost these states not 4 years ago. Literally 4 years ago, not even. Donald Trump lost these states to Joe Biden. You're seeing versus Harris in the first one. Donald Trump wins by 6%. In the bottom 3 against Biden, Trump wins by 5, 10, 7, 10%. That's not even a swing state at that point. It's really not. 7%, it's really not a swing state. If you go to Nevada, same story. Trump versus Harris, 10%. And then you have 7, 3, and 5 versus Biden. Disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. One more state I'll show you. Pennsylvania. Again, Pennsylvania is one of those states. Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada have largely been called for Trump at this point unless something crazy happens because of the momentum. But Trump also needs to get either Michigan, Wisconsin, or Pennsylvania. Look at these Pennsylvania polls. Against Harris, up 7%. Again, Donald Trump lost this state. And he's up 7%. And then against Biden, 4, 6, and 5%. So again, according to the polling, Biden's actually polling better than Kamala Harris. I think that's going to keep him in the race. Personally, I actually don't think at this point that he's going to drop out for several reasons. That's just one of them. Again, these are the first polls that we have coming out of the attempted assassination. So it is clear that the attempted assassination had a massive effect on how people saw him. Just really quick, just to give you kind of a history of the polls just this year. The year started off with Trump about 2% up, which is by the way, very good. Republicans are looking at that. They're saying it's very good. As we got towards the conviction, and at the conviction, it seemed that the gap closed a bit to about 0.5%. So it's real. I mean, I'm thinking like a month ago, it's really starting to close. Then, of course, the Democrats make the cardinal mistake of putting not even an old person, a dead person on stage with Donald Trump. They cave in on themselves. Joe Biden's numbers tanked. And then by the grace of God, Donald Trump survives an assassination attempt. And it isn't just that he survived, by the way. It's that Donald Trump beast moded an assassination attempt. He looked about as badass as you possibly could. If I was shot in the air and didn't know, like, adrenaline is pumping through you. I don't know where else I've been shot. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how many people behind me just got killed. And people are piling on top of you. To be like, hey, people protecting me, get off me for a second. I need to pump my fist and say fight, fight, fight. I can't say I would do that. I don't know. I don't think I would. It honestly gave me more respect for Donald Trump than anything ever has. And as you know, I did not support Donald Trump in the primary. At this point, I am all in on Trump, partly because of that moment. I think there's a lot of people looking at that. I think that in the last 100 years of American history, that moment will go down as one of the most iconic moments. One of the most powerful, stirring, iconic moments, whether you like Trump or not. There's plenty of leftists out there who have said, wow, that was inspiring. And they're right in saying that because it was truly legendary. So the reason why the polls are unprecedented right now is because we're in unprecedented territory. Generally, what everyone is talking about in the media is Donald Trump. They're talking about him usually in a bad light because the media is completely biased. And so in elections, you want the referendum to be on the president that you're against, the incumbent. If you're Donald Trump, you want the referendum to be on Joe Biden. You need people talking about his failures. But the problem is the media hasn't been doing that. And so what you have right now, for the first time, is that not only are the media talking a lot about Joe Biden in a negative light, but at the same time, they're talking in a positive light about Donald Trump. That is completely unprecedented. We've never had it once. Never once have we had the media and everybody talking negatively about a Democrat while at the same time talking positively about Donald Trump. And that reason is why the polls are looking the way they are. If that momentum continues, it will be a massive loss for Democrats like it was, back in the 80s with Reagan. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please go down below, comment, like, and subscribe, and watch another video.